Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. My name is the Midnight Chronicler, and tonight we are nearing the end of 2025. Christmas is in the air. I love this time of year so much. It's the best time just to like sit down with a great book while it's snowy outside, or watch a great movie, play a great video game. And I just thought, man, it's been a long year, really. A lot has happened. I got married. I finished school. There was so much that happened. I read books. I did YouTube, took a long break. Now I'm back, and it's time to talk about, through all that, my 5 favorite books that I read this year. Now, it's kind of an interesting list because there is actually one book on here that I'm not quite done with, but I'm loving it. I already know where it's at on my top 5. And this is my top 5 list, so I'm going to do what I want with it. And guys, please in the comment section, let me know what were your 5 favorite books that you read this year. All of our opinions matter, and all of our opinions don't matter. It's great. It's wonderful. Let's talk about things I like this year. Let's start with number 5. This is a recent one, and it's one that honestly I'm surprised ended up in my top 5 this year. And that is the best Stephen King book to come out in the last decade, as far as I'm concerned. Never mind, it's not Stephen King, it's his son, Joe Hill. This is King Sorrow. Man, I'm so excited to do a proper review for this book. It is fantastic. It's a nice chonker of a book, and actually, funny enough, I did not like Joe Hill's last book that he released. God, I think I was late high school or college. That was The Fireman. That book, it was such a disappointment because I love every Joe Hill book. I've read them all. Horns is fantastic. Nosferatu is a great read. Might be my favorite book of his still. But King Sorrow, man, for anyone missing that Stephen King, vintage Stephen King flavor, Joe Hill just delivers that in spades, and probably is a better Stephen King writer than Stephen King himself anymore. You know what I mean? Just has that supernatural mixed with horror, mixed with everyday people problems. It's so much fun. It revolves around a group of friends that just steal this terrifying book from this old library. There's a whole backstory to why, but basically they summon this demonic dragon figure named King Sorrow, and from there, it kind of intertwines itself or himself with their lives, and all this terrible stuff happens. It's just a great look at being careful what you wish for. I know Joe Hill, when he wrote this book, he was really inspired by Smaug and stuff from Lord of the Rings, or The Hobbit rather. And you can really tell that this is Smaug if he was even darker than he is. You can tell Joe Hill is Stephen King's son in more ways than one. He does a couple cool little callbacks to certain things, especially toward the beginning of the book, that will blow your mind. I loved reading it. King Sorrow, guys, go pick it up. It's a fantastic, fantastic read. And it's number 5 for me. And number 4, guys, in the year for me is a little bit of a different one. This is Catching the Big Fish: Meditation, Consciousness, and Creativity. Just something for those of us that love to create stuff. And you can apply this book anywhere. Creating YouTube content, writing books, making poetry, making films. Wherever you feel like you're missing that, that electric strike of creativity or of ideas. This book is a great deep dive on where great ideas come from, how meditation can kind of help you catch the big fish, right? I mean, it's just a way to sort of get those ideas from the depths of your mind that are there that you can't quite see. This book by David Lynch was such a cool insight on how he came up with a lot of his great ideas for his movies that he made, and just kind of what his process is on, finding his inner self and fishing those ideas out of him. It's, like I said, it's very kind of introspective and sort of artsy-fartsy, but I loved it, and it was a great catalyst for just reigniting my own kind of imagination and how I go about creating videos, creating things, and trusting myself and finding my voice again with YouTube and with whatever else that's going on in my life. It really is applicable to so many things, and yeah, it made such an impact on me that it's number 4 for the year for me. Yeah. Number 3, let's get back into the more fiction typical things you'd expect from my list. Number 3 is The Blade itself by Joe Abercrombie. Weirdly enough, it's actually a book that disappointed me slightly. I wanted a little bit more from the Blade itself, but man, what I did get was Joe Abercrombie is such a talented writer. And again, I hate to be one of those YouTube book reviewers. It's like, I like flowery writing. But man, Joe Abercrombie writes like few do. I mean, his humor that he injects in the scenes, how he describes things, how he describes pain that people are going through, the characters that Joe Abercrombie comes up with. You know, you got the like smarmy, like full of himself, younger warrior in the story. You also have this like war-torn, crippled character that is so much fun to read about. Every time this character shows up, just my attention is instantly glued to the story and what's going on. But the Blade itself, I just got a lot out of the Blade itself. It really kind of ignited a lot of respect that I have for Joe Abercrombie, and I really can't wait to read the rest of the series. But yeah, the Blade itself, go pick it up. It's probably an obvious choice, but really it deserves it. Such a fantastic book by an author that knows how to write so well, and knows how to write like so few do. That's number 3. Number 2, honestly, a top 5 for the year for me probably wouldn't be complete without mentioning this series in some way, and that's going to be One Piece. Now, obviously, there's so much more of this story to go, but man, I will, again, never forget picking this this collection up in a Walmart earlier this year, making a video about it. Yes, I got a ton of like feedback about that video, but just the story, the happiness injected into these like earlier volumes of One Piece, I love. Luffy and the gang are just such a joy to read about. You know, it just has that like brightness to it. As I said in my review before, it like captures this like sense of dopamine, this sense of sunshine that I just appreciate. And it's just a series that just feels good, it just feels happy, just feels optimistic. And like even when there's fights or, you know, quote unquote bad things happening, it's always kind of tongue in cheek. It's always sort of with, you know, like a wink and a smile at you. It just is, it's got a good heart. And I love that about One Piece, and I continue to love it. It made a huge impact on me this year, and there's no way that it could not have shown up on my top 5 of the year list, and I'm so happy it is, and I can't wait to continue with it. There you go. Number 1 is a book that came out of complete left field for me, considering the first book in this series I was not crazy about. And it's a series that just recently, the last book came out, and I can't wait to eventually get to that book sometime in the future. But I don't have the book in hardcover here, otherwise I'd show it to you. It is the sequel to Empire of Silence, which I was kind of lukewarm on, but that is, ladies and gentlemen, The Howling Dark. I mean, everything I wasn't crazy about with the Empire of Silence, Howling Dark did so well. Christopher Rocchio really, for me, started to like bloom in this book as compared to the first book. The world, Hadrian just becomes so much more of an interesting main character in this book. You know, there's a couple injections of humor here and there. His crew I finally started to like and identify with. The world he created, the characters, even at the beginning, there's a certain like evil character that is almost like got this very striking look to them that I was like, oh my god, this is so awesome. The fight scenes leading up to it, the Cielson antagonist, like the bad guys in this story are so cruel to humans, and the fact that they eat people, there's this like otherworldly believable nature to the Cielson and why they dislike humans, and that whole back and forth, and so much of the future technology, and the whole thing with Hadrian at the end of the story. I won't get into spoilers, but just like it ends in the most like blow your mind way, and a lot of the hints to things going on like AI and like these godlike figures that show up in Howling Dark. It took the story of Empire of Silence that like started off this big for me and just expanded it, and the world is just growing like crazy. And I've heard how amazing the next book in the series is, Demon in White. Can't wait to get to it. But Howling Dark easily was the biggest pleasant surprise, I should say, of the entire year for me. It's my book of 2025. I'm way behind in the series, but hey, I mean, you're following this channel for my opinion and stuff, and for the way I rank the stuff and my journey, and this has been my journey so far, so I'm not as caught up as I should be. But regardless, I read a lot of great books this year. It so disappoints me that Red Seas Under Red Skies did not crack my top 5. God, especially because Lies of Locke Lamora is my favorite fantasy book of all time. For the sequel to not crack my top 5 is such a freaking bummer for me. I hate it. But yeah, I mean, that book, Jade City, I read this year, was amazing. I'm rereading Project Hail Mary, which is a awesome book. A couple other things I read this year that didn't quite crack the top 5. You know, Mistborn was another one of the books. I was kind of lukewarm on that one as well. But yeah, just so much, guys. The holiday season's right around the corner. It's the best time to be reading books. You know, it's cold outside, it's warm inside. Snuggle up with a nice book. Guys, let me know what your top 5 books of the year were. Let's talk about it. So nice to be back. This is the Midnight Chronicler. See you guys later. There we go.